What are the three most important aspects that you need to look into with respect to Ashtakoot Milan, which is a method of horoscope matching in Vedic astrology? What are those three most important aspects in Ashtakoot Milan out of the 8 aspects? Okay, they are Gana, Nadi and Yoni. Which Mahadasha are you running? Are you running the Mahadasha of a planet which is connected to 7th house and 12th house? If so, then can your marriage happen during the Mahadasha of this planet? Should a Rahu-driven person get married to another Rahu-driven person? Will that be considered to be a good alliance? Hi friends, today I'll tell you what parameters you need to check when you are trying to match 2 horoscopes for marriage. Alright, friends, do wait till the end, because towards the end I will show 2 example birth charts, 2 horoscopes, and how their horoscopes can be matched for marriage. So that I'll show with the example charts also. Now friends, first of all, when you want to match 2 horoscopes for marriage, so there is a method in Vedic astrology of horoscope matching, which is called Ashtakoot Milan. What do you mean by Ashtakoot? Milan means matching, and Ashtakoot, Ashta refers to 8 and Kuta refers to aspects. Okay, so there are 8 aspects which you need to take into consideration. Okay, when you are looking at horoscope matching for a prospective couple, 8 aspects of their life, 8 aspects of the birth chart, their horoscope, they should be taken into consideration. So out of those 8 aspects, the most important aspects which I have found in my analysis of horoscope matching the 3 aspects are definitely Gana, Nadi and Yoni. So these 3 aspects are among the most important aspects which you need to match. Now friends, sometimes you will also see that when you do this Ashtakoot Milan, the score, it's called the Guna score. Okay, all total there are 36 Guna. Guna means qualities. So out of 36 points, sometimes the score may be very good, like 27, 28, even 30 or above. But a very good score does not imply that the marriage is going to be successful. Sometimes I have seen the score is very good, but the marriage did not work also. Their score was very good. The marriage happened, but the marriage did not last. It ended in separation. So that is also possible. So don't get carried away by the score. Okay, that is not the only thing which you have to look at. There are other things also which you have to understand deeply. Now friends, but then the 3 important aspects you have to look at. First is Gana. Gana means your basic nature. Okay, Gana is divided into 3 types. Deva Gana, or Devta, then Manav Gana or Manushya Gana, and Rakshasa Gana. So these 3 types are there. Now the Gana score also should be good. That is important. It should not be 0. It should not be 0. Now Rakshasa Gana and Manav Gana is not a good match. For example, if one native, say if the boy belongs to the Rakshasa Gana and if the girl belongs to the Manav Gana, then it is not considered to be a good match for marriage. Alright. Then again friends, you should look at Nadi. Nadi is basically the pulse or the energy element in the body of the native. Nadi is classified into 3 types: Adi Nadi, Madhya Nadi and Anta Nadi. In this case also, when you go to match the Nadi of the respective couple, the score should not be 0. Okay? And the Nadi of the male native should be different from the Nadi of the female native. So if the male native, for example, belongs to Adi Nadi, then the female native should be, say for example, Anta Nadi. So the Nadi has to be different. So it is good for the overall health and welfare and well-being of the couple. And the Nadi score also should be good. Then that also can signal that the couple can have progeny or family. Okay, so that is why it is important to match the Nadis. Next, the third aspect which is important in Ashtakoot Milan is Yoni, because Yoni refers to sexual compatibility between the couple. Now, Yoni is divided into, it has 14 classifications. So it could be divided into 14 categories. 14 types of animals are there. Okay? For example, mongoose, elephant, deer, lion, okay, etc. Cow, monkey, and so on. So there are 14 types of animals. Now, the Yoni also should match to a certain extent. Otherwise, the lack of sexual compatibility in the marriage can also lead to problems later on. The animal which which is connected to the Yoni in the chart of the male native, that animal should be friendly to the animal which is represented by the Yoni in the female native's chart. So the animals should have a friendly relation. If they have a friendly relation, it's very good. If they are the same type of animal, then also it's very good. But they should not be inimical to each other. That should not be the case. Now friends, that is all about Ashtakoot Milan, that is horoscope matching. It's a Vedic astrology method of horoscope matching on the basis of 8 aspects of the respective horoscopes of the male and female native. Now let's move on to another most important thing which you should remember while you are undertaking any sort of horoscope match, or you are in the process of horoscope matching. That is the Dasha. Look at the Dasha in the chart of the male native. Which Dasha is he running? Suppose and also the female native. Okay? Which Dasha she is running? That is very important. Say if the native is going through the Mahadasha of Jupiter, and Jupiter is connected to the 7th house, 11th house, 2nd house, then it's considered to be very good for the marriage. Yes, that the marriage can happen, the event of marriage is promised by the Dasha, and the marriage can also be successful. That is an indication which the Mahadasha planet is giving you. Now, if suppose a native is running the Mahadasha of any planet, say, okay, Jupiter, and if Jupiter is connected to 7th house, 12th house, then what will happen? Then if the native gets married to somebody in a foreign land, then it will be good. Or after marriage, if the native moves to a foreign land, okay, to live with their partner or spouse, that will be good for the marriage. Or if the native gets married to somebody who totally belongs to a foreign culture, then it can be good. Or if the native is going to be in a long distance relationship with their spouse, then the marriage can happen. But after the marriage, if the native thinks that I don't want to stay in this long distance relationship, I mean, it's meaningless to stay like that. If they think that way, then actually the marriage may not work. And if they think that they will marry someone else, they will leave that person, divorce that person and get married to someone else, it may not help actually, because the Mahadasha planet is connected to 7th house and 12th house. So the 12th house will exhibit its energy in some way or the other. If you get married to somebody who is staying with you and you have the Mahadasha Lord connected to 7th and 12th houses, and you think that, okay, I will get married to somebody with whom I will live together, I mean, we will stay at the same place, in the same house, then it can even lead to separation, because 12th house is the house of loss. So it could also show the loss of the relationship or marriage. So that is why when we think over a certain issue, that marriage, after all, what is this institution of marriage? Is marriage totally, is it based on our free will, or is it a matter of destiny? I have seen so many charts up till now, friends. I can tell you with conviction that marriage is entirely predestined. It is a matter of destiny. It is not actually in our hands. We think that, okay, we can regulate everything, we can control everything, we can kind of, okay, I'm not happy in this marriage, or there are conflicts, let me come out of it, let me get married, for the second time. So we think we can exercise our free will, and we can kind of, change things for ourselves. But certain things are not in our hands. Okay? Now, suppose if somebody is in a marital relationship and is with an abusive partner, if someone is subjected to domestic violence, or if there is some life threat, then definitely you should move out of the marriage. Okay? Because then you have no choice. Nothing is more precious than your life, which is a gift of the divine. So you have to move out because you have no choice. And then you are destined to move out, actually, to step out, to walk out of that marriage. Otherwise, if you think, oh, I'm not happy with this person, I don't have sexual compatibility, or okay, this is a long distance thing and it's not working, and I will kind of move out. And so be careful, because we cannot control everything actually. 3 events of the life of a native: birth, marriage and death. All these 3 events are predestined actually. Now friends, so if your Mahadasha Lord is connected to 7th house and 12th house, then either you will be in a long distance relationship with your partner, or your partner, your spouse, may be away for work for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Your partner may be away and may come to meet you after a period of 4 to 6 months. So that sort of marriage will work actually, because 7th house and 12th house. So spouse is going to some foreign land, is going away from you, So you are getting distanced, and again your spouse is coming back. So that could be actually positive, and it could be something good for your marital life, and that is how actually it's meant to be in this lifetime for you. So you need to accept that situation actually. Then for example, you're running the Mahadasha of any planet, say for example you're running the Mahadasha of Venus, and Venus is connected to 7th house, 8th house and 12th house. Then it is believed to be a problematic period for marriage, because 7th, 8th and 12th, 8th and 12th, both these houses, they signify loss, failure, sorrow, the end of something. So then if you have 7th house, 8th house, 12th house, if these houses are getting activated by the Mahadasha of a certain planet, then yes, it could be very challenging for you to get married. Even if the marriage happens, it might end in separation. It's possible. Or somehow you may get distanced from your partner, and you may get out of touch, no much contact. It's possible. So you need to look at the dasha. It's very important. Which dasha, and here I'm talking about Vimshotri dasha. Okay, Vimshotri dasha. Of which planet is going on, you have to find that out. Then also, friends, what else you need to look at? You need to look at your first lord, your ascendant lord and 7th lord, how they are placed in your chart. What is the connection between the ascendant lord and 7th lord? How many houses away they are from each other? Okay, if they're in 5-9 position, it's considered to be very good for the marriage. Look at their position, ascendant lord and 7th lord of the D1 chart or Lagna chart. Look at their position in the D9 chart or Navamsha chart as well. I'm not talking about the ascendant lord in the Navamsha chart, no. The Lagna lord or ascendant lord and 7th lord of your D1 chart or Lagna chart, those two planets, how they are placed in the D9 chart, that is important. So find out. In the D1 chart, if they have ascendant lord and 7th lord, if they have 5-9 position, it's very good. 3-11 is also okay. Okay, 2-12 is average. It could even be just about average. But 4-10 is not a good position. Okay, say if ascendant lord has moved 4 houses away from, or 4 places away from the 7th lord, and the 7th lord then will be 10 places away from the ascendant lord. So 4-10 position, or if that is the position, or vice versa. So 4-10 position is not considered to be good for marriage. Alright, find that even in the D9 chart also, 4-10 position is not good between the ascendant lord and 7th lord of the D1 chart. So D1 ascendant lord, D1 7th lord in the D9 chart. They also should not be in 4-10 position. It is not considered to be good. The marriage can happen, but after marriage there will be a lot of struggle. There could be a lot of conflicts, a lot of discontentment, dissatisfaction. In some cases, I've seen the marriage ends in divorce, separation, total separation. And in some cases, they just hang on for the child. Maybe if they have a child, somehow they just, stay somehow together legally for the sake of the child, maybe. But it is a very, very problematic relationship. So 4-10 is actually not a good position. And the most difficult position, the most challenging position is the 6-8 position. The ascendant lord and the 7th lord in the D1 chart, they should not be in 6-8 position. D1 ascendant lord and D1 7th lord, they also should not be in 6-8 position in the Navamsha chart. That is not a good placement. The marriage may happen. First of all, I've seen if it is in the Lagna chart, the marriage does not even happen. If they are in the Lagna chart in the 6-8 position, the marriage event is at times, the event of marriage is denied by the chart. The promise of marriage only is not there. So I've seen if it is especially there in the Lagna chart, ascendant lord and 7th lord in 6-8 position, the person may never get married in life. It's possible. Or I've seen that even if the marriage happens, it will end in separation. Now suppose you have it in the D9 chart, Navamsha chart, then even if the marriage happens, there will be a lot of conflicts and problems in the relationship. It could be a very difficult relationship, and it may eventually even lead to separation. Or even if they are staying together under the same roof, they will be apart from each other. They will be physically totally distanced from each other. It's possible. Now friends, even the 7th lord, when it is connected to Saturn, it is not considered to be that good, because Saturn is a planet which is also connected to separation. Saturn is a separatist planet. It takes you away from the person. Okay, if the 7th lord is connected to Ketu, it is also not considered to be good for the marriage. Ketu is another planet, the main planet of separation. Physically, you could be separated from your partner. If 7th lord has connection with Ketu, in the chart of a male native, if Venus is connected to Ketu. But there could be an exception. If Ketu is well placed in the chart, Venus is also well placed, then their dispositors are well placed. Then there could be a very strong spiritual bond between you and your partner. So Venus-Ketu will always not signal that the marriage will fail, no. But yeah, there will be challenges. If you can overcome those initial challenges, and finally the marriage may work. And especially maybe if you have a child, then somehow you will realize that both of you have some spiritual connection, and finally the marriage might work. But yeah, Venus-Ketu for a male native is not a good combination, for marriage. And 7th lord with Ketu or Saturn is not a good combination for both male and female natives. In the chart of a female native also, Venus-Ketu will not be that good for marriage, because Venus is the planet of marriage in both male and female natives charts. So Venus is always a planet which shows marriage and relationship. So that planet with Ketu, that is not good actually. I mean, it can bring about a distance. So both of you may get distanced from each other. It's possible. Alright. But yes, if you can somehow rise above your, certain conflicts which you may have, if you can face those challenges, and if you somehow decide to stay together, then eventually your relationship can become a very, it can transform into a very strong bond of love, spiritual love actually. And you will definitely have a sense of duty and responsibility also towards your spouse. The spouse also could have the same feelings towards you. Now friends, what else? Darakaraka. Darakaraka is again in Gemini, Jyotish or astrology, is the significator of the spouse. Alright. Now, Darakaraka is a planet which can definitely signal, your spouse. Now, Darakaraka in your birth chart should be a very important planet in the chart of your prospective partner. If you're looking at horoscope matching, so maybe you're trying to match the charts of two people who may get married or who are a prospective couple, then the Darakaraka in your chart should be a very important planet in the chart of your prospective partner. And the Darakaraka in your partner's chart should be a very important planet in your chart. What do I mean by important planet? Okay, that means, say in your chart, for example, Darakaraka planet is Sun. How will you know which planet is your Darakaraka? The planet which is at the lowest degrees in your birth chart, that planet is said to be Darakaraka. Okay? So in your chart, if that planet is Sun, then in your spouse's chart or in the chart of your prospective partner, Sun will be very important. How? So it could be the ascendant Lord. That is, their ascendant could be in the sign of Leo. Then Sun will be the ascendant Lord in their chart. Or the sign of Leo may be in the 5th house or 9th house. Then Sun will be either the 5th Lord or the 9th Lord. So, in your chart, if Sun is Darakaraka, then in your prospective partner's chart, the sign of Leo may be either in the 1st house, 5th house or 9th house. Or in your prospective partner's chart, Moon may be in Leo. Moon is a very important planet in the birth chart. So Moon may be placed in the sign of Leo. That's possible. Okay? Or your ascendant Lord may be placed in the sign of Leo. Okay? So, or even Sun is also an important planet. Or Sun could be in Leo. So like that you have to find out. Alright? Now, what else? Darakaraka in your birth chart, the planet at the lowest degrees is Sun. I said it should be very important in the chart of your prospective partner. So then Sun may be placed, it may be posited in the 1st house, 5th house or 9th house. Then also it will be acceptable. Okay, in your chart it is Darakaraka is Sun, then Sun should be placed either in the 1st house, 5th house or 9th house in the chart of your partner. Yes? Alright. Sun, no matter where it is placed in the chart, it should aspect the ascendant Lord. That is another sutra. In your chart it is Sun, Darakaraka. So it should cast an aspect on the ascendant Lord in the chart of your spouse. It may be posited in any house in their chart, but from there it must cast a very strong aspect on the ascendant Lord in their chart. That is also another principle. I've also seen in certain charts, say for example in your chart, Darakaraka planet is Sun. Then in your prospective partner's chart, Sun may even be placed in the 4th house, in the 2nd house, in the 11th house. These houses are good actually, because 4th house is the house of your home, peace of mind, even assets. 2nd house is the house of your wealth, even family. 11th house is the house of gains. So these houses are good actually. Darakaraka in your chart is Sun. Sun may be placed in any of these houses, 2nd, 4th or 11th in the chart of your spouse. But in such a situation, I have seen that usually the Darakaraka planet will cast an aspect on the ascendant lord also in their chart. Or like the Darakaraka planet of your chart is Sun, then Sun will either be in conjunction with the ascendant lord in their chart, or Sun will cast a very strong aspect on the ascendant lord in their chart. That also I have seen. Sometimes I have also seen that, for example, in your chart, Sun is Darakaraka. I'm just taking the example of Sun. It could be any planet. Sun is Darakaraka, for example, in your chart. Then Sun can be even in the 12th house in the chart of your prospective partner. Sun may even be in the 12th house, because from there the sun will cast a very strong aspect on the 1st house or ascendant. Now, which aspect am I talking about? I'm talking about the 2nd aspect, which is considered to be very powerful, 80% powerful in Bhrigu Nadi Jyotish. In Bhrigu Nadi, we consider the 2nd aspect of every planet. So I've seen that suppose in your chart, if Sun is Darakaraka, it is at the lowest degrees, then it can also be in the 12th house of the chart of your spouse or prospective partner. But it is generally not considered to be a very good placement, because I've seen that whenever this happens, the marriage may happen, but after marriage, because 12th house is the house of, which is, 1st house is the house which represents your life, and 12th house is a house which is away from you actually. Yes. So in fact, if 1st house is the self, 12th house is the loss of the self. That is why it is the house of spirituality. So when I've seen for example, the Darakaraka planet in your chart, if it goes to the 12th house in your prospective partner's chart, it may not be a very good alliance. It may not be a very promising relationship. It may not turn out to be so. The marriage may happen, but after the marriage again, somehow you will feel that your partner is getting distanced from you eventually. That has happened, I've seen. And that is why I keep telling it's very important to match the Darakaraka planets. Now again you will say that a little while ago I said that marriage is predestined. Then why are we matching? Marriage is predestined, yes. Okay? But it is always good to get the horoscopes matched also. Okay? Now, that will give you a fair idea what kind of person you're going to get married to. At least the astrologer can guide you and tell you that, these are, this sort of compatibility you may have. And so at least you are in a position to kind of think over the matter, rethink or reconsider the matter. Now you may say that why will we match if everything is destined? Maybe the choice is yours actually. Sometimes what happens, the astrologer may say that it is not a good match, you should not get married. Okay? The astrologer may prevent you. You never know. Because an astrologer is somebody who gives you knowledge. So an astrologer definitely is connected to Jupiter. And Jupiter is the voice of God. Yes. So maybe they wanted to show you the path, they wanted to guide you, but then you were so adamant, and the astrologer told you that you should not get married to this person because the horoscope match is I have tried to match the horoscopes. I cannot see any good match. In fact, if the marriage happens, the consequences may not be good. So we can only give you a sense of direction. Ultimately, what you will do, that is up to you. Yes. So we can only show you the direction, but then the path will have to be taken up by you. So then sometimes we have also seen that the native may not listen to the astrologer also, and they may ignore everything told, and they get married. So that means the marriage was destined to happen. So they were destined to marry that person. Then after that, again, they may suffer also. The marriage may not be successful. They may encounter problems. The marriage may also end in separation. So all that was again destined to happen. And then they may recall what the astrologer had told. So, friends, in life, certain events like birth, death and marriage, they are destined to happen. But Guru, and that is why we say planet Jupiter, has miraculous power also to even help us from any sort of untoward, help us from all evil. They can protect us from all evil, because Jupiter or Guru is actually the voice of God. So that is why whenever Jupiter aspects a certain house, Jupiter will always cast its benefic aspect on that house in your birth chart. So that is how a guru is. A true astrologer is a guru. Okay, and guru has that power of even molding your life path to a great extent. That power only a true guru has. Okay, because a guru is just like Jupiter. Now, the benefic aspect of Jupiter due to Jupiter's transit can even save the life of a person, because Jupiter is connected to prana, pranavayu, and Jupiter is the prana actually, the life force within us. So if Jupiter's benefic aspect is falling on the ascendant lord or moon, and if the native is very sick, say, and suddenly because of that transit, because Jupiter is aspecting, the native's life may be saved. Okay, so that is why it is important to consult some guru, some astrologer who can truly guide you and help you understand what your chart, what sort of promise your chart carries within itself, whether the event of marriage is promised or not, if the marriage is going to happen, whether it's going to be successful or not, whether you should get married to this particular person or not, whether you will be compatible with this person or not. So all these things we can determine or calculate with the help of your birth chart, and also with the help of horoscope matching, when we try to match your horoscope with the chart of some prospective partner. Then also I have seen that sometimes if the Darakaraka planet in your chart is, say, for example, say it is Sun. Now Sun, say if it is in the 8th house in the chart of your prospective partner, then also it is not considered to be good. So from the 8th house, so now Sun in your chart is Darakaraka, Sun is placed in the 8th house in the chart of your prospective partner. But from the 8th house, Sun is aspecting your ascendant, is aspecting the ascendant lord, maybe in the chart of the prospective partner. So the marriage happened. But because your Darakaraka is Sun, and that planet is placed in the 8th house in the chart of your prospective partner, so I've seen that it is not very good for the marriage. Marriage may happen, but again after the marriage there can be conflicts. There can be conflicts, and the marriage may even end in separation. Because the Darakaraka planet in your chart, Sun, is in the 8th house in the chart of the prospective partner. So it is always good if the Darakaraka planet in your chart is in a good house, is in an auspicious house in the chart of your partner. It's always good if it is placed in the 1st house, 5th house or 9th house, which is part of the Dharma trine. If it is placed in the 2nd, 4th or 11th, then also it is good, especially if it is casting an aspect on the ascendant lord in the chart of your prospective partner. So these are good placements. Or if the Darakaraka planet in your chart is the ascendant lord, 5th lord or 9th lord in the chart of your prospective partner. Or if, for example, the Darakaraka planet in your chart is Sun, then if your prospective partner has Moon placed in Leo, then also it will be considered to be a good Darakaraka match. And similarly, you should look at the Darakaraka planet in the chart of the prospective partner. Which planet is at the lowest degrees in their chart? Say for example, in their chart, the planet which is at the lowest degrees is Mercury. Then in your own chart, Mercury should be a very important planet. Important, auspicious, somehow a very important, of a seminal planet in your chart. Again, Mercury could be your ascendant lord, 5th lord or 9th lord. It could be in the 1st house, 5th house or 9th house. It could be conjunct with the ascendant lord. It could cast a very strong aspect on the ascendant lord or moon. Okay, so all these combinations you can find out. So these will be good for the marriage. So Darakaraka matching is why very important, because that is the planet which is the significator of spouse in your birth chart. All right. Okay. So friends, now I will talk about what else you need to look at. So the position of Rahu. This is again very important thing. Suppose you have Rahu in the 1st house, 5th house or 9th house, or if in your birth chart Rahu is somehow in conjunction with Jupiter, or Jupiter and Rahu, there is 5-9 aspect, very strong aspect, trinal aspect. Then basically you could be a Rahu-driven person. I'm talking about the Rahu position in the Lagna chart or D1 chart. Then you could be a Rahu-driven person. Yes. Then should you get married to another Rahu-driven person? So I have heard many, people saying that, Rahu-driven person should get married to another Rahu-driven person. But believe me, in my analysis, I have seen that if both the people are Rahu-driven, it may not be a very good marriage actually. What will happen if you are driven by Rahu? Either you could be self-centric, or you could be very critical, very analytical about things, or you could be even even run after fulfillment of your desires, wealth, all materialistic possessions. It can make you materialistic. If you are into research or in-depth study or research, then also you could be very obsessed with your own desires, I've seen. Okay, then it's not good if your partner is also chasing their own materialistic desires. And how will it be possible for you to run, both of you, how will you run the house otherwise? If both of you are respecting are chasing your respective goals and desires. So if one of them are obsessed, like I'm talking about those people who have Rahu in the Dharma trine, or Rahu is in strong conjunction with Jupiter, or 5-9 aspect between Jupiter and Rahu, then such people, they should find a partner who is not Rahu driven. Somebody who is not Rahu driven, that partner would be good. Their partner should not have Rahu in these positions. That would be a good match actually. If you are a Rahu driven person, you can chase your goals, targets always. You can run after money, wealth, all materialistic possessions. And your partner now will, if they are not Rahu driven, then they may also be ambitious, but there will be a balance somehow. Okay? And they will have that maturity and wisdom to understand that yes, they will have that level of understanding. Okay? Because they won't be blinded by their own desires. They won't be obsessed with their desires so much. So that would be a good match. I've also seen if a Rahu driven person gets married to a Ketu driven person. So Ketu could be Jupiter Ketu combination, it could be there, or Moon Ketu combination in their chart. So if a Rahu driven person gets married to a Ketu driven person, or Ketu could be in the Dharma trine, somewhere in the Dharma trine, then it could be a good match. But then Ketu will have to be well placed in the chart. Ketu's dispositor has to be well placed. Then the person, your spouse, could be very spiritual, even religious. They could have, in-depth understanding of things. They can have a very analytical bent of mind. They can have a lot of compassion for others. If Ketu is well placed, dispositor of Ketu is well placed again, they can have a lot of compassion. They can have wisdom also. So then it will be a good match. That's what I've seen. So I hope, friends, I've covered most of the points, what you should look at while, going for horoscope matching, or while you are intending to match horoscopes for marriage. So what are the parameters you need to take into consideration? And now I will take you quickly to the birth charts. Yes. All right. Okay, friends, you can see this is the chart of the male native. All right. Male native. Here the degrees are not visible here actually. It's not available on this page actually. On some other page we have the degrees. So never mind, I'll tell you that the male native here, this is the chart of the male native, and he's a Cancer ascendant, and the planet which is at the lowest degrees in his birth chart is actually Saturn. Saturn is at the lowest degrees in his birth chart. In his own birth chart, we can see that Saturn is in Virgo in the 3rd house, and this planet in his birth chart is the Darakaraka planet. It is at the lowest degrees. Now that means Saturn will have to be a very important planet in the chart of his spouse. It has to be a very important or auspicious planet in the chart of his spouse. So quickly we will go to his spouse's chart. Okay. So I'll take you to his spouse's chart, and there we'll see, I'll just zoom it a little, and this is the chart of the spouse, his spouse's chart. In his spouse's chart you can see that Moon is in, you can see Moon in the 7th house, Moon is in Aquarius. That means Saturn is a very important planet in the chart of his spouse. This is the chart of the female native. So in her chart, Saturn is in the 4th lord, in the Kendra, it's in the 4th house, in the Kendra, and it is also the dispositor of Moon. because moon is in Aquarius and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is a very important chart Saturn is a very important planet in the chart of the spouse or female native. Clear? Okay, now in the chart of this female native, the Darakaraka planet is Jupiter. Okay, you can see Jupiter in the 9th house in her chart, in Aries. Okay, Jupiter is in the 9th house. So Jupiter is a very important planet in her chart. Alright? Okay. So we will find out whether Jupiter is the Darakaraka, because Jupiter is at the lowest degrees in her chart. So in her chart, Jupiter is the Darakaraka planet. Clear? So now I will take you quickly to his chart, to the chart of her husband. So this is the chart of the female native's husband. Here you can see Jupiter is the 9th lord. In the 9th house you have the sign of Pisces. So Jupiter is the 9th lord in the chart of the husband or the male native. So the Darakaraka sutra or principle is matching. Jupiter is in the 2nd house also. In his birth chart, Jupiter is in the 2nd house in Leo, and Jupiter is the 9th lord in his chart. Okay? Alright. Now friends, one more thing I would like to draw your attention to: Rahu. Rahu is in the 2nd house in his chart. You can see? So it is activating the Artha trine, the trine of materialistic pursuits. So this male native is always chasing targets, has a lot of desire to succeed in his profession, and is always also in a way running after money, is kind of obsessed with gaining wealth also, because Rahu is in the 2nd house of wealth and it is activating the entire trine of Artha or materialistic pursuits. Okay? Interestingly enough, you will see that in his spouse's chart, in the chart of the female native, yes, in the chart of the female native, I want to show you her chart here. Okay, I'll just zoom it a little. Yeah, in her chart you will see in the 2nd house there is Ketu. So Rahu is not in her 2nd house. Instead, in her 2nd house we have Ketu. So definitely we can say she is not that materialistic as her husband. She is not chasing targets, or she is not running after wealth in the way her husband is. Okay, she is looking after the house, taking care of the child. So that's why friends, I told you that Rahu and Ketu energy, they need to be balanced. It's very important to balance out the Rahu and Ketu energies. Okay, so if one person is running after money and wealth, materialistic possessions, the other person should be there to take care of the house, then it's a good alliance, and somehow the marriage ends up being successful. Okay, so friends, that was all I wanted to tell you about how to match horoscopes for marriage. What are the parameters you need to look into for horoscope matching? All right, so yeah, do take care of yourselves, and yes, always seek divine grace and blessings through prayer and meditation. That's very important, so that you can connect with the divine, and the Almighty will definitely bless you to make a sensible decision regarding this important event of your life, which is marriage. So it is always important to be engaged in meditation, and it's always important to stay connected with the divine, and the Almighty will definitely show you the way. So you can also get your horoscopes matched before marriage. Okay, so yes friends, so take care of yourselves, take care of your parents, and be kind to the poor and downtrodden. Be charitable and compassionate to all animals, birds and creatures also. So yeah, if you want personal consultation, you can text or WhatsApp me. Details are there in the video description. Thank you so much.